Okay, so now you've casted on, we want to create our first row. So this is very similar to casting on, okay? So you work at the top stitch. So as before, you go through the front stitch, go through the front, towards the back, create a cross, wrap your wool around the needle, make it come in between the two needles, and you go over this piece of wool and under that stitch. Now instead of when you cast on, you just pull out the stitch and add it to this needle. We're not going to do that because we're actually going to knit now. So what you have to do, all you do is just pull the stitch off the needle. And that's literally knitting. Okay, so again, we'll go from the front to the back to form a cross. Go around the needle and down in between the two needles. And you want to go over the one piece of wool and through the bottom, okay? And then just lift that stitch off that needle. Okay, so we'll keep doing it a bit slow in case you haven't seen the casting on tutorial. So you go up through the front of the stitch towards the back, create a cross, bring your wool around and through the middle. And a good way to remember it is bring that needle over this piece of wool and under that stitch. So you want to go over that piece of wool and under this stitch and then pull the stitch off. Okay, so towards the back, around, go over and under, pull the stitch off. So go up, around, down. Okay. I'm just going to do this until we get to the end. Just hopefully, because sometimes it's easier to see someone actually knitting than to explain it. So you can stop and start this video as much as you like, especially this bit here, because that is the tricky part. Well, I think that is anyway when trying to explain it. There's not many ways of explaining it very easily. Okay, so we're nearly at the end now. Let's do these last few stitches. Okay, so that last stitch, I will just do that last stitch again for you. It is exactly the same as the first one, but when this stitch is on this needle, it's exactly the same stitch. Pull it down, just completely off that needle. So all your stitches are on this needle. So that is a whole row of knitting. And you can do many patterns just with this stitch, which is called garter stitch. But for these mittens, we are actually going to be using one row of knitting and one row of purl. Another row of knit, another row of purl, because that makes a flatter texture. Whereas if you just do garter stitch, it's a bit more of a coarser texture. Okay, so that's your first row of knitting.